Welcome to Winning Inside, the show where we follow the journey from feeling defeated to winning. Here are your hosts, Cheddy Matthews and Michelle Wickman.
Hello, amazing people. Welcome to the Winning Inside podcast, where we discuss real issues, insights, and solutions to help you thrive in your day-to-day lives.
We know life happens, and we can choose to be a spectator or a participant.
Michelle, how are you today?
I'm good.
It's good to see you.
Yeah. I'm pretty mellow today, actually.
Mellow's good.
Feel good.
Oh,
Yeah. I know. It's almost, we're coming to the end of Q1.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Mm-hmm. 2023, one quarter of the way through.
In the books. That is wild how quick that came. It is crazy when you think about it in those terms, how we have gone so far, so fast, or seemingly so fast. Like, what happened? Wasn't it just Christmas? Wasn't it just New Year's? Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Wasn't it just our 1 year anniversary?
It feels like a bit of a blur.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I love that. I love it. But here we are, yet still we are here doing our thing day after day. And I love that. It's interesting. Today was an interesting day for me. I usually wake up early, as you probably know, but my term in school has finished. So I have a few weeks of break and my body has been like, you are going to rest. And my body's just been Control Alt Delete, shutting down, just letting me just go to sleep. Every time I sit down, I pass out. So this morning, my alarms go off at the regular time, starting at 5 something and all the way to 6:22, where it's like, get up. I didn't get up today. I was like, I'm not getting up. And I just laid back down and tried to go back into a dream state. And something said, wait, you have a whole day to start. You've got to get up. There are things you have to do. You've got to get up. And I popped up and was like, it's time to start this day. And it was interesting because at first I didn't want to get up. But then once I did get up, it was like this excitement about starting the day and doing things afresh and anew was exciting for me. And it got me out of bed. And today I want to talk about what gets you out of bed, because there was a thought that happened in my mind that really powered me and fueled me to pop up and get up and start my day. And I actually want to discuss that a little bit because it was a thing that happened. It was a real thing, a real thought that caused me to have a real action. And I'm glad it did, because I feel like I would have wasted a bunch of hours in the day. And I don't like getting up late anyway. But what happened for me was I realized that this term and this semester, I've been going real hard, working really inefficiently is what I'll call it. And I didn't notice it until it was done. And my body just started to express all the exhaustion it had. Physically, I could feel it. Emotionally, mentally, I just felt tired and drained. I'm like, I can't do this. I've got too many things going on, too many people that depend on me, too many people that I'm supporting, helping, assisting, or whatever, that I need to be on my game at all times. And I cannot allow my tanks to get empty. So in order for me to perform optimally, I've got to be efficient and I've got to be effective. So in those two things, I realized I've got to change the way I'm doing things. So this whole week that I have no class and I can just focus on clients, and I can focus on Cheddy, I've realized that I need to find out how to refine my processes. And that is exciting to me because I can add more value to people. I can give them the better part of me when I'm refreshed and rested and I can powered and all ready to go. So that's the excitement for me. So it got me out of bed because that was the thing that enabled me to pop up and say, let's go, let's start the show, let's get this done.
Yeah, no, I interestingly had a bit of a similar morning where
Really?
I haven't had the opportunity to work out in quite some time. And this morning I woke up early, as I usually do. However, my son goes to school a little bit later today. So I went ahead and went to the gym early this morning. And it's one of those things where I had plenty of time to get up and go. And I said, oh, I could go back to sleep. Right? I don't really feel like doing this thing.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like going to work out. And there in cognitive behavioral therapy, there is, I guess, an approach or a practice, which is behavioral activation, which you may be familiar with, right? Mm-hmm. And it's this concept. I mean, it's generally around helping to manage depression, but it's essentially using behaviors to influence your emotional state.
Yes.
So conceptually, and it's funny because I recently saw a post on social media, some Instagram thing, somebody commenting on it and using the same concept, which was that I don't feel like doing it, but I'm gonna do it. And then no, and I like logically and cognitively, I know that I feel better when I'm done working out. But before I go work out, I'm just dragging. And I'm just like so not into it. Right.
Yep.
So it's really, for me, it was just like, okay, I'm just going to go do it and hope that my brain gets on board. And it always does without fail. Right. Mm-hmm. So for me to get out of bed, it's, I'm also reading Mel Robbins' book, which she's like super famous for. Essentially, it's the 5-second rule, which is like you count down to 5. You give yourself, before you get to 0, before you get to 1, get out of bed. Right? Because once you get 5 seconds in, your brain can talk you out of anything. So I was like, nope, I'm getting out of bed. I'm going to go and just trust that my brain's going to get on board and feel better after I go work out. Right. And before I think, I'm not even going to think about what do I have to do first. It's just go put those dang shoes on.
Yep. It's true.
So what got me out of bed was just saying like, okay, quite frankly, it was just, I don't feel like doing this thing, but I know my brain's going to get on board later.
Nice.
So whatever little thing that I have to do is just like get out of bed and put my shoes on.
That's pretty cool.
That's what got me out of bed.
We both got out of bed. We both popped out of bed when we popped out of bed, but we did it for different reasons. That's cool. Like you chose to use a behavior that you know is just going to make that thing happen. And I chose a thought that was going to excite me to get me out of bed. But the result was the same. We both got out of bed, started our days, got our productivity in, and here we are now on a podcast. So even though we did 2 different things and 2 different methods, they both worked and got us out of bed to start our day and to make us have an impact on society as we try to do, and one another too, because we had a good conversation this morning. Michelle, it was so good to chat with you. Put it out there. Yeah.
Yeah. And quite frankly, that's the whole point of any of these practices. It's like, anything we offer is a suggestion, but everybody has their own unique approaches to it as well. Yep. So Cheddy had to find the thought that would motivate him into action. I just took the very tiniest, smallest action was get out of bed and put on your shoes. That was it. Get out of bed and put on your shoes. Right.
Yep.
And then I was like, I mean, obviously I had to get dressed in order to put on my shoes, but it was just one of those things where I was like, my goal was just to put on my shoes. And then at that point, I'm like, my brain's on board. I'm awake. Yep. I'm ready to go, all of those things. But it was just the thing where I was just like, do the action and your brain will catch up.
Yeah. Good stuff. So I appreciate that. And I think it's just it's a mind shift, but you realize that no matter how you do it, as long as you get the end result, it's probably going to work for you. So hopefully you find ways, or at least consider ways to help you get up and get out of bed, because I think people do this all the time. I just wonder if they consciously know why they got out of bed. What is it that drives you in the morning to get out? Mm-hmm. What is it that makes you, I don't want to do this thing, but I've got to do this thing, so I'm going to do it. To do those hard things that we don't want to do, or to do the things we're excited about. Because there are times, let's be honest, when we were young, if it was our birthday, we probably wake up super early because it's probably a gift for us, or we want to wake up and enjoy the whole of our birthday, or whatever it is. On special days, no issue getting up. But on the days when you have chores or stuff to do that you don't want to do, all of a sudden, sleep feels really good. And the alternative, i.e. waking up, doesn't feel so great. So we don't do it. So how do we motivate ourselves on the days that we don't want to do stuff? I don't know. Just think about it. What have you done? I would love to hear comments in the future of what you have done to get through these times, because there are actually things you can do. And you've heard 2 of them right now. But everybody has a why. Everybody has a motivator. Whether you express it, articulate or not, there's something that will get you going. There's something that fuels your passion, fires you up. Maybe you find that thing, and that's the thing that helps you to get out. Maybe you just realize for you, I've got to hit the alarm. As soon as I hear the alarm go off, I'm going to put my sit up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn the light on, whatever it is to get you started in the morning. Find out what helps you to get started. And then if there's 2 things that work for you, find out which one is the most effective. Why not? Like, there's many ways I can get up, but for me, I use alarms, but I use alarms with music. And for different songs, I know it's a different time of the day. And they go from real calm, real mellow, real happy kind of waking up kind of songs, all the way to a song that's like, oh my gosh, that's the lyrics of the song, like, oh my gosh, and it makes you jump up like, oh my gosh, I'm late. And I do that on purpose so that I know when it's time to get up gradually or when it's time to get the heck out of bed and go start your day, you're late. And that's just for me. And I do that because I like waking up to music. Alarms, not for me. But I can do alarms, but I prefer music. So what do you do? Michelle, what do you do to get up? Like, what are some of the things that you do besides, the whole 5-second rule that pop up?
Well, I have a morning routine now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am journaling in the morning, first thing in the morning. And again, with this, for me, it's just recognizing that sometimes I'm like, well, I don't really have anything to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just woke up. I don't have anything to say. And for a while, I was writing down any kind of dream that I had, and I had been dreaming like really intensely for a few weeks. And then that sort of dissipated, and I was like, I'm just going to keep doing it because it's part of that process where it's like, even if I don't feel like it's doing anything for me, I know that it is, right? And my brain gets on board later because I remember the things that I wrote in the morning versus like forgetting all of those thoughts that started to populate in my brain.
Yeah.
And some of them are good and some of them are bad. And bad or negative, right? And had negative kind of energy or connotation to it. I just write it all out.
Yeah.
Part of it helps me to just not hold on to these things as I move forward through the day. So while I wake up in the morning and I always have my notebook and my pen right by my bed because I know that if it's out of reach or like really difficult, I'm just, okay, I'm not going to do it. Right. But when it's right there in my face, I'm like, okay, even if I only have 2 minutes, I take the time to do it.
Yeah.
So creating a routine in the morning for me has helped me to become more consistent with like getting out of bed and feeling ready for the day.
Yep.
There's the other thing. Okay. And obviously I'm back on social media because I've already made a reference to it. Because I think I had mentioned a while ago, like I just deleted all the apps from my phone and it just felt so wonderful. And there's, I'm back on. I'm not like crazy about it, but I'm back on. But I saw there's this one audio that has been trending, and I just loved the idea behind it and the energy behind it. And it's essentially somebody screaming, shouting out loud, like, "Woohoo! I'm alive! I woke up today. I made it to another day." And it's that concept that it's like, many times we allow our days to feel like Groundhog Day, where it's sort of a repeat of yesterday or a repeat of last week because we have all of our schedules, whether you have kids or not, or, your work schedule, et cetera, et cetera. But each day really is a gift. And when I heard it the first time, I thought, oh my gosh, did something happen to him? I was like, did he survive something? Because I just, that's where my brain goes. But then I realized how everybody's using this audio, which is just generally speaking, how amazing it is that we're living in this space and this time on this planet with the people that we're surrounded by, and like being in awe and in wonder of like nature and the fact that our cars can go fast. And, we take a lot of these things for granted and we experience frustrations and also a little bit of desire for things to be back to the way it was in the 80s or the 90s or whenever, right? Like we hear that a lot in conversation.
Yeah.
And this idea that we can just wake up in the morning and go, yes, I did it. I woke up.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's funny. It's
can you
gratitude.
Imagine just like
boom,
fist pumping and like high fiving? You're like, I made it through another night.
You realize
different energy.
Yeah, you have the privilege of having another night, of having another morning. That's a privilege, and it's just starting. You know how we feel about starting your day with gratitude. I think celebrating the day that way is instant gratitude. It may not be the words of gratitude, but it is definitely the energy, the spirit of gratitude. Oh, how awesome is that? That's just fired up. It's gonna
Yeah.
be an awesome day.
Well, I
You
think
know it.
it's a true full embodiment of that
Mm-hmm.
energy,
Yes.
right? It's like expressing it verbally and
Mm-hmm.
audibly. It's
Yeah.
feeling it in your body. It's looking around and just being like, holy crap, this is so cool. Imagine if you took somebody from 200 years ago and planted them in your room, they'd be like, whoa, what's happening? Right? Like that kind of energy where you're just like, this is really cool. My
Whoa.
bed's awesome. This lamp is awesome. And you take all of these things for granted. But if you just looked around your room in the morning one time and just said, and just named off 5 very generic, things that we overlook every single day and just be in wonder of those things,
Oh, wow.
your day would be totally different.
Oh, yeah. And you primed it from the very beginning. It's been primed that way. And then everything you see, you must see it from, it's almost like putting on a certain kind of lens. You've just basically tinted the whole day rosy. It's good. Things are going to just have a better flavor to them because you've started your day that way. It's that foundation of your day.
Yeah.
It's been gratitude, excitement, gratefulness. I love that. That's fire. That's firing me up.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
it's
a
like,
challenge,
what
Michelle?
gets you out of what's that?
I'm sorry, but is that a challenge? Because it sounds like I need to do that.
No, yeah. I think we should all try it
Game
for
on.
30 days and see what happens. Like,
All right.
whoa, look at that book. Like, it's so cool.
I'm going to call it the Whoa
But,
Challenge.
I mean, we started with like, what gets you out of bed in the morning? And then there's the idea of how do you get out of bed in the morning?
Yes.
With what energy, right?
Mhm.
So like for you, it was a thought. For me, it was like, just do one action, one very tiny action, right? But then how you get out of bed. And again, it's, I'm energetically I'm pretty mellow because I'm journaling and then I'm just going and doing whatever it is. Usually it's right into being a mom.
Oh.
But then there's the opportunity to just pause and just consider, what energy is it that I want to carry through with me and to like get out of bed with that energy. When we talk about getting out of the wrong side of the bed, that phrase or whatever. I don't know if people use that anymore because I swear I don't hear it as often.
That never made sense to me because as a kid in England, where I lived, my bed was against the wall by a window. So if I got out of the wrong side of the bed, I fell out of the window. Like, so it never made sense. Like, what? I'm supposed to fall out the window?
Well, that would definitely be the wrong side of the bed. But
it never made
that
sense.
being said, that whole concept of like, oh, you woke up cranky, like, and you're bringing that cranky energy to me.
Yeah.
So we associate it with how you get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
So really even just thinking of like, how do we get out of bed in the morning is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And how do you want to get out of bed tomorrow morning?
This is so funny. I had a group session on Monday where we were talking, I was leading. And one of the things we talked about was there's an energy that you bring to the workplace or to your family or to whoever you're interacting with. And a lot of it starts with things that don't even relate to or have anything to do with the people you're dealing with. You may have been, like you said, woke up on the wrong side of the bed and you're going to work grumpy. You're mad at the people on the traffic and you're mad at everything that you can see. You go to work and you can destroy the good day that everyone else is having. You can affect that in a negative way with things that have nothing to do with them. And as people who interact with other people, you have to sometimes be considerate of how your attitude can potentially affect other people. And if you've ever seen, I mean, it's really sad to see, but if you've ever seen somebody who's excited to see you, that you can see them light up when you come in the room, and then because you're in a bad space, you rain on their parade and you can see their whole demeanor just drop. Like you just totally soured their day. That's painful. But you know what? I think we do that sometimes, whether we know it or not. Somebody cuts you off or you think they cut you off and you're mad at them. Maybe they were swerving from an obstacle on the road, but we don't know, but we get mad at them. But think about how that affects you and how it affects other people and how if you think about that, it can help you to direct your day and the kind of energy you're putting out. Because sometimes the way we get out of bed really does definitely affect other people. And it affects you too. Let's be real. It affects you.
So if you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, follow, share, and most importantly, use whatever adds value to your amazing life.
Remember, even if life puts barriers in our way, we are still moving forward. Sign in again for a new episode of Winning Inside.
Thank you for listening to Winning Inside with Cheddy Matthews and Michelle Wickman. If you enjoyed today's show, please make sure to click the follow button, rate and review at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can connect with Cheddy and Michelle at winninginside.io. Keep listening. Another episode is coming soon.